now move ahead with our next speaker, and we are joined by Honorable Sunil Deshmukh ji, who is live with us from Florida. He is the president of the Maharashtra Foundation, USA, a philanthropist, and a former corporate leader of the Wall Street. He started his career as a chemical engineer. The Maharashtra Foundation Awards for Progressive Literature and Social Service was initiated in 1992 under his leadership. And as they say, charity starts at home. Mr. Deshmukh was honest enough to donate 2 crore rupees towards this fund himself. So let's hear it from the man himself, Honorable Sunil Deshmukh ji.
Sunil ji, you have to unmute yourself.
Sunil ji, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. And can you see me and hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Since we're running a little bit short on time, I'm going to delve straight into the point I want to make for the future of India. And that's all about the youth. And I'm going to just in 1 minute establish a background canvas for the youth. So this is very important. What I'm going to say is anything and everything that fundamentally changed the way the whole world lives has been discovered, invented, marketed, and propagated by the American youth under the age of 18. Today, you cannot do without Facebook, you cannot do without computers, you cannot do without Snapchat and various other things. These are all things invented by youth under the 18. In fact, even in global scenario, youth is leading the world in various things. For example, Greta Thunberg is the leader of the environment movement globally. Malala is the leader of the women's empowerment movement globally. So it's the decade of youth. It's the next few decades are for this young generation. So as the American youth has dominated all this tech revolution, innovation revolution, what have we, the Indian youth in the last 30 years, invented? There was only one called missed call. So the contrast is so stark. But why? You know, the Google gives same information to anybody who queries. So the information gap is gone. Intelligence, in my opinion, I've been here 45 years. I think Indian youth is even a little bit slightly better, smarter than even the American youth. So if there is no information gap, there is no intelligence gap, why is there a huge performance gap? That is the real question that most people don't think every day. So I would say, what is it that American youth does that enables them to perform so well? And you know, there's one more thing is everybody says, oh, but we don't have money, you know, this and that. Believe me, this is going to be a innovation and ideas-based economy next few decades. The days of manufacturing nails and plastic slippers, gone. Anybody who does the innovation and creativity-based economy, he's the one who's going to come ahead. She's the one who's going to come ahead. So, oh, we don't have money is not really the excuse. You know how much money was needed to actually invent Facebook? $3. The guy was sitting in the dormitory at Harvard University, and he did it in his spare time, actually. So if you have good ideas, money will chase you. In Marathi, they say, Lakshmi Saraswati cha payashi virate. So we have no money is really not an excuse for non-creative kind of things. So question is, how do we, the Indian youth, rate on this creativity-based, innovation-based economy? And I'm afraid to say it's at the very bottom. Indian youth is looking for repetitive jobs like call centers and this and that. No, you guys are smart. You guys are just have everybody has a smartphone, so you have no lack of information. So what is it lacking, or what does the American youth have that makes them successful so much more than the Indian youth? In one word, it is the progressive mindset. It is त्याला आपण पुरोगामी विचारसरणी म्हणतो. American youth is very progressive. They believe in women's equality. They believe they have an open global mindset. They have open accepting, basically frame of mind. And so they welcome different kind of people, different globally. So they're open to new ideas. They're open-minded. They are very much into Stri Purush Samanta, as we call it. And they are thinking out of the box. They are not bound by the Rudi Parampara, as we call it. So that is really the secret of their success, not because they are much smarter than us, not because they have money, but because their mental mindset, mental frame is very progressive and open, global, and very equitable. I think that is anybody who has open mind, anybody who is got futuristic mind, anybody who's thinking is not locked up with traditions and this and that, all kind of things that tradition, culture, Rudi Parampara, all of those things American youth does not abide by. They are open-minded, they're free thinkers, and they just think out of the box on every issue. So that is a truly progressive mindset that makes American youth very successful on every front, even in life. So thereby, the real secret to the progress for Indian youth will be whether they have an open, globally accepting, thinking out of the box, not bound by all these old traditions and this and that. If they have that, they will be just as successful or even more successful in this creativity and innovation-based economy. One other thing is the status of women. Our culture being a male-dominant culture, women have always been relegated. But guess what? In a creativity and innovation-based economy, the women's natural talents of collaboration, cooperation, innovation, all those things are exactly what is needed in this new era. And male, young youth, those who understand that, accept it, and welcome it, will be the ones who will be happy and successful in this new era. So where does the Indian youth stand? And this is like a generalization, so not everybody is like that. In fact, all the youth who are present here are definitely an exception, but Indian youth is still currently very traditional, very tradition bound. ज्याला आपण रूढी परंपरा त्यांचं लॉक झालेलं आहे. And also, we have a little hypocritical culture in that everybody is bowing to everybody, and then that's just going through the motions. So on one hand, we sing the praises of our culture, but on the other hand, we're bound by this Rudi Parampara. Anybody who thinks out of the box is actually discouraged, actually punished for thinking out of the box, thinking non-traditional way. So currently, Indian youth is behind, not because they are not smart, not because they don't have information, it's because of their mindset. Majority of these people are what I call backward looking or pratigami vicharsaraniche lok आहेत. And they are getting more and more into what happened 1,000 years ago, what happened 800 years ago. Nobody's thinking what's going to happen next 30 years. So anybody who has a progressive mindset is the one who's going to be successful in the new economy. In fact, women are likely to be more successful because of their natural talent that suits the new economy. Now, question is, who taught all these values and who actually practiced these values? And that was Mahatma Gandhi. In fact, a lot of people are surprised to say, hey, isn't this a guy with a pancha and all that? What do you mean he had modern outlook? And guess what? He was the biggest user of technology in whole India in his time. In fact, he used more technology like telegraph, like telephone, etc., than current technology, more than even the Viceroy of India. Mahatma Gandhi had an open global outlook. आपण विश्वची माझे घर म्हणतो, वसुधैव कुटुंबकम म्हणतो, नंतर माझी गल्ली सोडणार नाही, किंवा जाती उपजातीच्या नावाखाली आणि धर्माच्या नावाखाली इतरांची डोकं फोडणं, यात आपला तरुण सध्या गुंतलेला आहे. So it is Mahatma Gandhi's thoughts and it's Mahatma Gandhi's living. I mean, bole taisa chale त्याची वंदावी पावले. So Mahatma Gandhi actually lived this philosophy. He used modern means, he used global outlook, he had a equal, you can say, attitude toward women. In all his satyagrahas, in all his movements, women were at the forefront. He did everything with his wife together. So he already practiced what is needed to succeed in the next few decades, Stri Purush Samanta. In fact, in the next few decades, Stri Purush Samanta is actually a wrong concept because women actually have a better talent than men, naturally, to succeed in the next few decades. So men have to acknowledge it, recognize it, and actually, most importantly, act. So what I do, what I say is not as important because, our days are over. It's the youth, Indian youth, who will make or break their own careers and India's progress if they adopt a progressive or purogami mental set. And believe me, look at all the Nobel Prize winners, look at all the famous people. They were all global in their outlook and very accepting of the various people and no whatever at all, biases at all. So bottom line, what do we do this point forward is Indian youth has to, and there is no choice because your success depends on it. Think out of the box. Think non-traditional. That doesn't mean insulting other people or whatever. That means stand your ground on independent thinking, on futuristic thinking, and on equitable thinking on global human values, global outlook, accepting of all, and a progressive frame of mind. Unfortunately, what I see in last 10, 15 years is a lot of youth are going exactly opposite. They're trying to live in the past. They're trying to figure out what happened 1,000 years ago. Oh, this, that, and a hatred. Those who are close-minded with caste or religion-based hate, they cannot innovate. A closed mind can never be innovative mind. A closed mind can never be a creative mind. So thereby, the current trend among many youth is on a totally wrong path. So it's Gandhian thoughts and Mahatma Gandhi's own acharan, practicing those progressive thoughts. We have to emulate those. The youth will have to say, hey, how come he used the most technology? Hey, he was a global outlook. He accepted everybody. He believed in Stri Purush Samanta. So those are the values we already have as an example from Mahatma Gandhi. And if we practice that, if we truly believe and practice that, the whole world is yours, the success is yours. So the Guru Kildi, as we call it, for individual success and success of India as a nation, totally and completely depends on the mindset of India. If you are progressive, you're going to go like a rocket. If it's pratigami, as we call it, inward looking, backward looking, mind filled with racial and religious and caste hates, those people will never be successful in life, I guarantee you. So it's up to you to follow Mahatma Gandhi's example for the future and be open-minded and be progressive-minded. Success will be yours. Thank you.
So much, sir. Indeed, your inspirational words, I'm sure, have reached across to so many youths that have joined on this virtual platform with us today. I do mark one thing. Along with Gandhi ji, you repeatedly mentioned the importance of the progressive mindset. And this reflects a lot on the small photo frame that is right behind you, sir, in your house. And that is of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, who was
Yes.
one of the most impressive leader with a progressive mindset, sir. So I hope we all—
Absolutely right.
Yes. So I'm sure the youth of India will take this positive message from you. And as you are expecting the future 75 years, we will tread positively along that path. Thank you so much, Sunil ji, for joining us. And I'm sure you would continue your association with the Jaihind People's Movement, the
Absolutely.
Global Connect. Thank you so much, sir.
Sure.